Good evening and welcome to the debate on an extraordinary night for English football in the Champions League. We are joined by John O'Shea and Joleon Lescott. Tonight, well, to be honest with you, the script's gone out the window. We are going to be talking about Manchester United for some time. A quite remarkable turnaround. John, I'm going to have to start with you. Has Ole Gunnar Solskjaer written his name, not for the first time, into the Manchester United history books?
Without a doubt. I think, obviously, going into the game in Paris tonight, no one had overturned a 2-goal deficit. He's bringing on young kids for the Champions League, the history of Manchester United with young kids, giving them their debuts, etc. And to get them a win like they did was incredible. As you said, writing himself in history books again. I think we talked about it earlier off air. I think he'll have the contract signed.
That's signed for the time they get back to Manchester.
When they touch down in Manchester.
Are you still in shock at what we've just seen?
Yeah, you have to be with the injury list. How well PSG performed in the first leg. All those factors put together, you're thinking, okay, it looked as if one stage United were just going to get the win, but still fall a bit short. But to make the changes that he did, to be positive, to leave, obviously, they had to, last 10 minutes, leave a bit of space for Mbappe, which they hadn't done all game.
And that's the thing, it seemed like they had a plan throughout the game, even when he's saying to the team halfway through the second half, 5-4-1. And it's like, well, you're losing, you need a goal. Do you go to 5-4-1 or do you push an extra man up front? But he seemed to be in control the whole time and know exactly what to do.
Did you think it was possible before tonight? Be honest.
Before, to go through, possibly not, no, I didn't, I'll be honest, yeah. Did I see them winning? Not even that. I thought the space that they would have to create to get forward and score goals, and then the space that would leave Mbappe to get in behind, I thought, wow, that's going to cause problems. He did get in behind, but he didn't capitalise on the mistakes. And the most experienced man on the pitch, Buffon, with one of the mistakes that you wouldn't.
Yeah, you're not expecting them from him.
So many heroes for Manchester United tonight. Who deserves honourable mentions to start with?
Chrissy Smalling.
Yeah.
Chrissy Smalling was immense.
Hang on, this is the centre-halves union.
Yeah.
Lukaku gets a brace. Rashford scores unbelievable.
We're getting to the glory, boys. I think Rashford stepping up to take that penalty.
We were debating it before, because there's obviously been speculation that Pogba wanted to, Pogba and Lukaku argued over the weekend due to him wanting to get a hat-trick.
Yeah.
Lukaku on a hat-trick again.
So you're thinking, is he going to take it? But as the commentator said, it's Iceman. Rashford never looked phased. And
maybe an important point is there, Joleon, as well. We didn't see any of Romelu Lukaku saying, I want it, I want a hat-trick, I want it. Nothing at all, was
I think that would have been
the goals beforehand.
Regardless of who scored what. If you're 5-0 up and I've got 2, and it's for a hat-trick, but in that importance, you want the penalty taker selected to take that kick, and it has to be Marcus Rashford.
Yeah. Right, so apart from Chris Smalling,
you'd have to say the midfield. Beforehand, obviously the pressure they were under in terms of Ollie spoke about in the press conference, and before the game, the freshness that they had, and that you would have had the eagerness to do well. But to come in, Scott McTominay, Fred, Pereira, I mean, just the three of them together, man of the match, you know. And that's obviously, we're not mentioning the lads who scored the goals.
What won Manchester United that tie?
There would have been belief there, organisation. Definitely a lot of organisation. I said I doubt them 3 midfielders would have played together before tonight. But everyone seemed to be in sync with each other. They knew exactly what to do and when to do it. Obviously, have to capitalise early after for the first goal, and then didn't kind of rush and think let's chase.
When they equalised, they had a wobble, but they reorganised, didn't they?
Yeah, they stick to the game plan. It didn't faze them when they conceded. It was like, well, we know what we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, they were well aware PSG were going to have big, large spells of possession, and they were going to have to, as they were defending deep, they were having a few issues initially on the right-hand side, and then once they got the grips with that.
Yeah, he deserves credit for that, making an early substitution. There may have been injury involved in that, but to recognise that they were getting some joy down the right-hand side, and then to change that and never look back.
Bringing Dalot on was a good move.
Were you impressed as well, once again, Ashley Young's role in proceedings? Real captain's performance.
Well, exactly, and I think that's where he's really grown into it, in particular this season. And as well as coping with the changing. They were going to 5-4-1, they were going to 4-4-2 at different stages. Ashley was a big part in conducting that changeover. You could see him as well at different stages on the sideline with Ollie and Mick at different stages, and Michael Carrick talking through little phases of when it was like as if at certain points in the game they were happy with the 5-4-1, 5-4-1. Then they were going to go, and obviously towards the end they were going to push for the goal.
In your mind, is there no question this is up there with Turin?
Well, it has to be, for the fact that, as we spoke about, no one had overturned that deficit away from home.
OK, is it better? Is it better? Does it top it?
Potentially, yeah, potentially. It will do if obviously you go on to win it. Go on to win it.
But you have to win it.
That's the big thing about winning it. Is obviously, let's just enjoy this one for the minute tonight. Let's not get too far ahead. But look, I think how Ollie spoke about it yesterday in the press conference about maybe PSG's fragility if we get that goal, and then the mentality side of things creep in, where it has happened to PSG before.
But that's the thing. He seems to talk like he's been there before. It's not like he's obviously played for Man United, but he seemed to be in all the situations and know how to handle them and know how to speak about them. Every time he speaks open and honest, and it's a breath of fresh air.
He's open and honest, but was that also quite clever what he said there? Because if that was Sir Alex talking about PSG and what's happened to them previously, a little bit of mind games there as well. There's some steel with that smile, isn't there? Yeah,
definitely. But as I said, he's not shy in describing that. He leans on Sir Alex to kind of mentor him now as a new manager. So, yeah, he deserves a lot of credit for what he's doing and the way he's going about it.
I mean, as you say, it's impossible for him not to get the job now, isn't it?
I mean,
do you think it's done on the plane on the way home tonight?
It won't be far off. It won't be far off. I think we saw was it one of the lasers there yesterday as well, watching training. I'm sure there will be more discussions tonight as well as celebrations. But I know the type of character Ollie is. He will have said, "Look, kick on. We've got Arsenal, huge game. Let's not take out a huge game with Arsenal coming up at the weekend. Let's focus on that. Hopefully they might have a few bodies back in." But when you looked at the bench as well tonight, to think you're going away to a top European team, to have that bench, and you're thinking, hold on a minute, but
and then to make a sub so early on, a defensive change early on, you limited then yourself again. So it's, as I said, he kind of knew exactly what he wanted to do, and he made the right changes at the right times.
His results have been unbelievable. The one loss prior to tonight now doesn't matter because they've gone through.
Yeah.
His conduct, I don't think he's actually put a single foot wrong, has.
I think that's the biggest change, is the conduct. I think as Man United, as a club, as a brand, they expect a certain level of leadership and qualities, and I think he's brought that. I think he's brought a composed leadership head there, and he's, as I said, he's answering the questions very openly, and he's doing everything that you would expect of Man United.
What would be the advantage or disadvantage of the United board deciding on the time when to give him? And is there any advantage in them delaying, not making him the permanent manager, say, by this weekend?
I think they're going to stick to their guns. I think they're going to wait till the summer.
Why?
I think they've just decided that, and I think because they don't want.
But history's just been made. Why
but I just think
the plan up?
Just keep it nice and smooth, keep it nice and simple. Maybe in the background, I know if you can tell Ollie, listen, you've got the job, but we're not going to announce it till the summer, or something along those lines, to keep everything ticking over, because they've got a chance that who knows what happens in the draw, who they get in the draw for the Champions League.
Might go and lose every game now.
But look, he will be the next Manchester United manager, permanent Manchester United manager. Whether they do it now or in the summer, I think just enjoy it for them. Enjoy that result tonight. He will be the next Manchester United manager.
Have you got any doubts about him being the right man, the right person, the right temperament?
No, because he's, how as Joleon said about transforming the club, speaking to a few of the former players who've gone in there and seen the atmosphere around the whole place. I know it's easy to say to obviously the players, he's a good guy, players want to do things for him, but as we spoke about tactically as well, what he's been able to do in the games at different stages, even tonight, keeping PSG fairly limited on their chances. I don't think De Gea had too much to
which
do,
you
really,
expect because they're a top team, but
overall
you wouldn't say they dominated in terms of creating chances.
I mean, look what he's done with, let's take, for one example, Romelu Lukaku. He's left him out. Look at the response he's got from him. First time in his club career for Lukaku, 2 goals in 3 successive games. And that's without being the main man for some time. That's an extraordinary response.
Yeah, but again, we spoke earlier off air that if there's a man to describe and explain to you how to act and behave in this situation, it's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He played that role from near off his whole Man United career.
To be ready,
so,
to be ready and waiting to come in and...
Because he had that.
Yeah. He had that at different stages. Yeah, he had a run in the team, but then he was back out, obviously the competition. But that's where he spoke about, as Joleon was saying there, to the player. If you're not ready, if you're coming cribbing to me maybe about not being in the team, or if you're not training properly, if you're not working hard in the gym, being ready for that chance, Lukaku's come in and he's just torn it up. He's been what we know he can be, a quality striker.
I mean, it's easy to say that there was no pressure on Manchester United tonight because they weren't expected to go through. But can you only say that, literally, up until about 5 minutes into... As soon as they score, it changes. It's a new ball game then, isn't it?
I think, for me, of not being associated with Man United, I can say that. But I think as a Man United person, fan, player, there's always going to be pressure. I think that club is used to winning and used to producing big performances.
OK, if not pressure, Joleon, expectation. But then it changes, doesn't it?
Yeah, it changes to more belief. It's a little bit of hope before the game starts. You go 1-0 up after 2 minutes. It's now, we believe we can do this. Now we've only got to get one more goal and we can do that. So, as I said, everyone involved in Man United would have believed that they was going to get this job done. This wouldn't be a surprise. It would be a great celebration. And they looked obviously over the moon at the end of the game, but going into the game, they honestly would have believed they could do this.
Yeah, okay. Especially the team talk just beforehand. Ollie would have had a big play on. If we get this first goal, that was the key. And the next thing they have it after a minute 58 seconds or something, you think, OK, that's when a bit more pressure definitely comes back. OK, let's see how strong the centre-halves union is. Penalty or not? If that was given against either of you, you jump, you got your back.
In today's game, it is a pen, and the fact that the referee's been able to go and view it again and make that decision, then he seems to have made the right decision. I don't think many people will argue that it wasn't a pen, but I would feel hard done by. He hasn't put a foot wrong all night either, and the fact that you've tried honestly to block a shot, turned your back, and it's cost you your club.
I know. I think it's the fact as well when the refs always have that kind of line or excuse when they do give them, you're not in a natural position. When he turns his back, he's out of control. He's not. His arm's out a bit. His arm is out a bit. If it's down by his side, you're definitely saying it's not a penalty. But when your arm is out away from your body, that's when the refs say you're making yourself a bigger obstacle, and the chances are it's going to be given. And at one stage, you're thinking Mick Phelan and Ollie were going to cause havoc. They were screaming at they were going to put him under too much pressure. He wasn't going to
push him out of the way so he could see the screen.
Yeah.
No, look. As you said, he'd had a fantastic game over the 2 legs as well. He'd been a star performer for PSG, but it's unfortunate. But he has kind of gone a bit unnatural in how he's turned and in the air to block it.
But you're going into that, we're saying pass out wide. Greenwood's in acres of space. We're not even telling him to shoot, and then he's made the shot, and we're saying just pass it, and then all of a sudden you've got a pen. Great decision.
The other thing is, as well, is not just the crucial incident right at the end, but do you think tonight, because there was an offside goal disallowed, it was another good advert for VAR?
Yeah, because the last few, whether was it last night or the last Champions League nights, there's been incidents. Was it the Madrid game? Was the ball over the line? Over the line, and you're thinking, why don't they have a camera down the sideline so you can clearly see it? Stuff like that. But tonight it showed, especially time-wise, I'm not sure the final time on it, but it looked fairly quick, even though Ollie and Mick weren't happy with how quick it was.
You mentioned Mick. What sort of impact do you think? I mean, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will take all the headlines. He always mentions his backroom staff, Kieran McGill, Michael Carricks as well. How big a part, and what sort of part will those 3 play?
Yeah, huge part. And I think,
rather.
Yeah, Ollie will take the headlines rightly, as you said, but Mick will have that, well, normally calm and influence, apart from tonight on the sideline, but just to spot things, the experience he has now of obviously working under Sir Alex as well, being successful, having his own spell as well as a manager for a while, learning that way, getting stronger, and I think Michael and Kieran will have that kind of new age type of thing with the coaching side of things to help out, but I think Ollie overall has just been so special, you know what I mean? But there's all the ingredients together with Mick's calmness at the right time, maybe to say to Ollie, look, maybe leave that go, don't leave that slide or whatever. I'm sure Ollie will be very grateful, and he'll thank them all tonight.
Fantastic, wonderful, wonderful night for Manchester United. Can you imagine what it's like right now in that PSG dressing room?
Yeah, that's devastating. Devastating. There'll be tears, 100% there'll be tears, because they've got to this stage numerous times and failed. So I'm sure the manager now will be under pressure. Yeah. Regardless of how well they're doing in the league, you're expected to win the league when you're PSG. You dominate that.
This kind of, when they talk about a project, the PSG is the Champions League.
Oh.
They've been building, and to be fair, how they played at Old Trafford, a lot of people were thinking, obviously they knew they were missing Neymar and Cavani, but they still showed at Old Trafford. They thought, ooh, this is big quality.
Yeah,
they're going to be challenging.
Yeah, definitely they would have been, and for me, they were up there, right there with Man City in terms of favourites to win this competition. Yeah. So for them to go get knocked out and have a 2-goal lead at home, that's an intense atmosphere at PSG. That's not an easy place to go and win. So when United to do that is a lot of credit. But yeah, PSG players and fans will be very disappointed.
Does it once again beg the questions? Is it mental? Because they've got the talent there.
There has to be an element of that. Also, the fact that 2 of their best players are not fit, even though they have won the first leg without them, they will have a positive impact.
Yeah,
if they're in the team, is a little bit more fear for Man United. As I said, if you're facing Neymar, Di Maria and Dani Alves are world-class players, but if you see Neymar instead of Dani Alves on the wing, you're going to be thinking defensively a lot more than you're going to be thinking getting forward. Like Luke Shaw again, we didn't mention him. We had a great night, but if he's faced against, that would have been Mbappe out there if Cavani.
Yeah, the confidence that Cavani
is different,
and Neymar would have given the other PSG.
You could argue that United had plenty missing as well.
Exactly, and that's why you have to kind of levels itself out.
Yeah. What sort of effect will they have on United going into a huge game in terms of the battle for 4th place at Arsenal at the weekend?
I think it'll be incredible, because I just think Ollie won't have to do too much.
I think it'll have a bigger impact on the teams they're facing. I think now, going into that game on the weekend, Arsenal will be like, okay, now we know they can produce that performance.
This is no fluke.
Yeah, this is not just
it's not
form, or this is them kind of what you expect of Man United over the previous year. So it'd be massive for them confidence-wise, obviously, but going into games, then it'll give other teams a little bit added fear.
Yeah, the belief factor has just really gone up a couple of notches.
Yeah.
What are those nights like as a player?
Yeah, look, late goals, that the club Manchester United is obviously kind of synonymous with them, and to get it tonight on a European night away from home, incredible. I was fortunate enough to score in a semi-final, but that was at home, and it was kind of forgotten about because the semi-final down at the Emirates, we kind of blew Arsenal away. But they're amazing nights, and as you said, that dressing room tonight, especially for Greenwood and John. Yeah. Well, I mean, the confidence those 2 kids will get from tonight as well. Even the lads, the younger boys that were on the bench as well. The confidence, that is priceless. What they will get from tonight, to see obviously the build up to the game, as Joleon spoke about, away from home in Europe, going to Paris, in a PSG, hostile atmosphere. Experience is priceless what they gained tonight.
I mean, they were 11 points off of top 4 when Ollie arrived, but this is clearly his finest hour, isn't it? By some distance.
Yeah, definitely. You expect them to win games in the league. The way they've done it now and the instant changes is a bit of a surprise, but you expect that. But to do this tonight to a team that, again, were the favourites possibly to win the competition is huge for him personally and collectively. And as I said, the group of players there that played tonight, Fred was under pressure. People were doubting, is he a Man United player? He came in tonight and showed that he can play.
Brilliant to see him just before the penalty.
Yeah.
That was real leadership coming in there. Obviously, Marcus, they were trying a few little tactics to put him off before the penalty, but Fred stepped up and said, I'm looking after you here. Leave him alone.
Yeah. In their faces.
That was great to see, and I think United fans and obviously the players and staff as well took a lot of joy from that.
We've heard it said before that United have got their United back. If anything, does that absolutely encapsulate that tonight? Everything about that? The way it was done, the bravery, the attacking, the young players involved, everything. That's the tradition of United.
It was ticking so many boxes. It was incredible. Ollie spoke about it in the press conference, spoke about it in the pre-match chat. It was like ticking so many boxes. But the mentality side was the worry for PSG, and that was the one thing, as you spoke about, maybe a mind game that Ollie cleverly planted early on to say, if they do concede, it's a different game.